Thank you, Dr. Ledlow. Each year, the Alumni Association takes great pride in presenting this award to a graduating student who has established a superior history of academic excellence, extracurricular activity, and community service while at Valencia. I'm also pleased that in 2012, the Alumni Association named this award after Mary Smedley, the college's first ever distinguished graduate, an enthusiastic Valencia advocate, and generous philanthropist. The 2014 Alumni Association Mary Smedley Scholarship distinguished graduate is Mr. Angel Sanchez. Angel has a powerful and inspiring personal story to share with you today about his life journey. The Valencia College Alumni Association proudly honors him as the 2014 Distinguished Graduate.
This is a pretty big plaque. It deserves a podium of its own. Second. Thank you, Sade, for that warm welcome. Thank you, President Sugar, campus presidents, vice presidents, deans, members of the faculty and staff. Thank you, members of the Board of Trustees. And a special thank you to all the family and loved ones here in attendance today. But most importantly, congratulations to us, the class of 2014. Yes, sir. Started from the bottom, right? It is truly an honor and pleasure to be here today, and I must confess that as I began to write this speech, it started to dawn on me that I've never graduated from anything else before. That obviously makes this a very special moment for me, as it is for everyone here today. But there's some bad news. Not having been part of any other commencement, I haven't witnessed enough people mess up their commencement speeches. So I really don't have much to go off of. I will say I watched a YouTube video where some guy was singing Nicki Minaj. I'm not gonna do that. The good news is, though, everyone I seem to talk to, no one seems to remember what their commencement speaker talked about. So that gives me a little ease. I hope you remember at least the good parts. Before I begin, I want to recognize a special group of students. Obviously, having all this regalia on me, I get to represent a bunch of different groups. I mean, some of you might recognize the Blue Stoves. Yeah? The financial ambassadors, student workers, leaders. Yeah. But there's a group of students that typically go unnoticed. A group of students that one report even called them the invisible student. And the student I am talking about is the homeless student. Today, you're not invisible. Today, I represent you. Today, I represent the potential that each and every one of us possess. You see, I'm here with a 4.0, 2 degrees, graduating with honors, and throughout most of my time at Valencia, I was homeless. But that was until last summer, when I fell in desperate need of internet, taking online classes, and a schoolmate, which has become my best friend, welcomed me into his house, allowed me to rent a room in his apartment. And ironically enough, he's graduating with us today. So join me in embarrassing him a little bit. Where are you at, Fredo? Fredo, where he at? Look, yeah. Thank you, partner. And I want to thank his family for an amazing son. I know many of you are probably asking, why were you homeless? So I will share a little bit about my story and how I arrived here. Originally, I grew up in the inner cities of Miami, and I was surrounded by drugs, crime, and violence. I grew up in a broken home. At the time I was 13, I began to get arrested. And by the time I was 16, I was tried as an adult, and I spent the next 12 years of my life in prison. However, in prison, I grew up mentally and spiritually, developed my faith in Christ, got an unquenchable... Yeah, that is my cornerstone. I developed an unquenchable thirst for education and began dreaming of someday getting out and going to college. 3 years ago, my release date came, and I was confronted with a choice. I could either return back to Miami, the old streets, the old neighborhoods, old friends, and risk going back to prison, or I could start new in a new city, somewhere different, but alone and homeless. Today, I am proud to have taken the homeless path. It was humbling, but it has become empowering, because it is in this homeless path that I actually found a home. I found a home right here at Valencia. I found a home among all my friends here. A home is where you find people that love you and bring the best out of you, and I think that has happened. Nonetheless, I also want to share the story of Miss Mary S. Collier. That's who this amazing and very big plaque is named after. And that's whose legacy I am honored to carry on today. Miss Mary was a business owner, a mother, a wife. But at the age of 50, she decided to do the unthinkable. She decided to return back to school. And when she did, she outdid her peers. She silenced all the critics and became Valencia's first distinguished graduate in 1982. Yeah, she deserves that. What's amazing is that both her and my story are over 30 years apart, but yet they're still the same. The essence is the same. We are odds breakers. We come here as long shots and leave as short bets. I share my story and Miss Mary's story, not because they're unique or special. I share it because they represent each and every one of your stories here today. They represent the story of unlikely scholars. We refuse to either give in or continue giving in and being victims to our circumstance. We refuse to give in to fear and doubt and took that leap of faith. So that is, to me, what makes Valencia's graduation so special. It represents what a poet and rapper that I happen to listen to, which is Tupac Shakur, once called the rose that grew from concrete. Against all odds, we've achieved in the face of adversity. Here, we don't find one or two roses. Here, at each Valencia graduation, we find a garden that has risen from concrete. In fact, I'm willing to bet that there's plenty of first-generation college students right now in the audience, right? Me too. My little niece saw a finger that I have in a room for that first-generation campaign, and she's like, "What does that stand for, Uncle?" And I said, "That's because I'm the first in the family to go to college." She's like, "I'm going to be the second one." She's here today with us. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of returning adult students here, right? Yes? Listen, I might look young, but I am going to be 32. I'm sure there are many high school dropouts or remedial students. How many of y'all remember 1028 or 1018 math? That was me. Whatever your challenge is, I'm sure there's a mosaic of amazing and inspiring stories here in the audience today. And what makes, whatever it is, we've achieved a great goal, a great milestone. And what makes this a great goal is that we didn't arrive here with a silver spoon in our mouth. We arrived here with baggage, with challenges, with difficulties, and today we leave with a degree. You know, as a distinguished graduate, I may be able to speak up here, but each and every one of you is a distinguished graduate to your family. Each and every one of you will walk up here, and you're going to represent your family and loved ones. You're going to represent their dreams and their hopes. And as we come up here, we will walk off stage, and we will enter the next chapter of our lives. And as we enter that next chapter, I challenge us to hold on to the lesson that got us here. And that is, we didn't settle, we succeeded. You see, settling involves giving in to one of two things. It involves giving in to complacency, I'm good, or fear. And sometimes they work together. When you're afraid, you start saying, I'm good. But when we refuse to give in to these, success becomes inevitable. That's been my motto. Every time I heard one of my friends in prison tell me, what are you studying for? You can't do nothing with that in society. I would tell them, watch me work hard. I don't settle, I succeed. When I've gotten out and many people tell me, why are you stressed out? You've already done enough. In my mind, I just say, I don't settle, I succeed. And I'm sure Miss Mary had many people tell her, what are you doing going back to school? You're a business owner, for Christ's sake. And I'm certain she responded in her mind, I don't settle, I succeed. So, class of 2014, I challenge you and ask you to join me in making this not my model, but making this our model. We don't settle, we succeed. I heard someone say yes, so will you join me? Yes? I like that. I thought I was going to have to say it twice. So when I say class of 2014, let's all yell together, we don't settle, we succeed. Class of 2014. We don't settle, we succeed. No, I'm not going to settle for that. Nah. Let's do that one more time. Class of 2014, we don't settle, we succeed. I am proud to be the distinguished graduate of this class because I know each and every one of you will succeed. And before I close, I know I'm going to go off script, and I try not to because I get really emotional, but I think it would be wrong for me not to. But give me a second, and I want to thank somebody very important that's here with me today. Many of you heard a lot of my storyline from one place or another, but a lot of times there is one person who's not portrayed as amazing as she is, and that's my mother. Many of you probably heard of her challenges, and you probably heard of my challenges, right? But despite those challenges, there's some things that go unsaid. When my father passed away in his last years, she was there with him. And after he passed away, the person that would buy books and send them to me, despite all her struggles that she was going through in the streets, was my mother, so I could prepare to be one day on this stage. She deserves a very warm thank you from me. And as I have a sister who right now is incarcerated, I also have 3 amazing young nephews and a niece there, and she's taking care of them by herself. As a mother should love her child unconditionally, so should a child love his mother unconditionally. Thank you, Mommy. And thank you all to class of 2014. We don't settle, we succeed.
Thank you, Angel. Angel's remarkable story is the focus of a new video that can be viewed on the Valencia YouTube channel. I encourage you to share Angel's message of hope so that others could benefit from it.